Welcome to another Colors of Prog. I normally discuss progressive rock recordings, review them from around the world. This time out, I'm going to revisit one of my first few episodes where I discussed the care and cleaning of vinyl and CDs. Some of you who watched that video on YouTube said that the audio was pretty low. And I think it might have been an issue with the transfer or the recording at the time. So now that we've upgraded our system slightly, we now have the Blue Yeti microphone and working on the boom attachment. But anyway, so I'm going to just briefly do a Cliff Notes version of that one for now. So, where do you buy your vinyl and your CDs? Record stores are few and far between nowadays. Online seems to be the place, or stoop sales, flea markets, etc. But a lot of people use eBay. Not shilling for eBay, but I have purchased and I've gotten lucky a percentage of the time, and I've dissatisfied a percentage of the time. Anyone who buys on eBay knows that. And also Amazon, and also from Symphonic Music, Greg Walker out of Utah, all you Prog guys and girls, men and women and ladies and persons, let's be all inclusive, know that Greg, I believe out of Utah, has one of the largest collection of progressive rock, mainly on CD, but he does have some vinyl and DVDs. The other person is Greg Larson Imports. You can Google both of those people, come up, or contact me and I'll give you their information. Two of the best places to get brand new, not used recordings, vinyl and CD. Now, back to eBay, you can get something brand new, something mint condition from 1968, 69, 70, so on and so forth. But yet you can get something very good condition, and it can have some ticks and pops. New stuff can have ticks and pops depending on where it's mastered. Lately, a lot of older vinyl recordings from the past are being remastered, mainly out of the Czech Republic. Don't ask why. They probably have a very large facility there, and Germany. But some of the Czech remastering has not been great. It's been hit and miss. A lot of people complaining of hiss on vinyl, ticks and pops where there's no evident sign of scratches or age, brand new, take off the shrink wrap recording. So remastering process. Some of the remastering done in Italy has been, for the most part, I find, for vinyl, very good. Some of the best I've heard in a long time. As well, there's a few companies out there that don't have access to the master tapes used for the recording, or to the analog or digital mix downs of these recordings, this music. And so they're mastering from CDs, which is fine, but they're not really EQing them as much as they should. Now, when that is not an option anymore, they're mastering from older albums, older vinyl. And as some of us who are vinyl aficionados know, if you don't connect that ground wire, you're going to get a hum. Sometimes a very audible, loud hum, forcing you to connect that to the correct receiver input, where your ground wires should be twisted in there. And there are ways to do it. You can look on YouTube. If you don't have the exact correct ground wire hookup on your receiver, there are ways you can jimmy that. YouTube is great for many things. Just Google it, go to YouTube, put it in the query. Anyway, so I found on some recordings, this is hum. Well, it can't be. I took off the shrink wrap. This came from Italy, brand new, looks beautiful, gatefold sleeve, yada yada. And it turned out that this was probably mastered from a vinyl, nobody bothered to check that the ground wire wasn't hooked up correctly, and you had this audible hum, which is a shame. Recording still sounds pretty good, but you find yourself going crazy trying to locate the source of the hum, thinking it's your equipment, your turntable, your receiver, something in between, metallic interference. Anyway, so that's a little bit about that. I've been pretty lucky, but also sometimes I've gotten things at eBay. I tend to buy cheap when I can, because we know, as we know, our beloved progressive rock can be quite an expensive hobby, and everyone seems to have caught on. But you can get quite lucky. Look for also lots, LOTS, lots of prog in the search bar. Sometimes people have like 10 or 12 albums. I just want to get rid of them. There was one seller, it was a woman clearing out her husband's collection. I'm not sure if he was deceased or no longer together. She ended up with it. Really good prices. The stuff was mint. So be careful. Yeah. When did I start out talking about the care? So here's your CD, common CD. If you get a used CD, or if you have an older CD in your collection. So, whether it's typical gatefold sleeve, this is a tight Japanese CD, which it looks like I'm going to have trouble getting it out because I just got it and the OBI was removed by myself. In either case, so whether it's in a jewel case or one of the old-fashioned slip-outs and not a Japanese OBI where it's a tight fit, just wipe it down with the typical, I would recommend, good microfiber cloth. Yes, the same kind of cloth you wipe off your computer screens with, your television monitors. If you don't have one, various places sell them. It's a thing. You're not going to clean your 65-inch television monitor, whatever we're calling them nowadays, with paper towels and fantastic. You're going to use a microcloth, picks up the dust really well. So just wipe that CD very carefully. Imagine I got the CD out of the package and you wipe it in a circular motion. Never do it from inward to out. You run the risk of scratching it. Also, do not exert any force. Jewel cases. Well, jewel cases are different. I'd recommend taking the CD out, placing it on the side. You could use some decent household cleaner. Place it on a good paper towel like a Bounty or some Scott towel, whatever. I'm not shilling for either one of them. They're pretty good paper towel brands. Not too thin, not paperish. And with the CD out of the case, leave the case closed. And some of you are smokers. There's you can't detect over time, but there's something on those CDs, or they've been placed on a shelf for 14 years, right? You decide to pull it out and play it. Ew, that looks old. Just clean it off, wipe it off after you spray it out. Just a little. Wipe it off, dry it off, throw the CD back in there, put it back wherever you want, or play it. So again, if you have a scratched CD, there's not a lot you can do with that. You can't magically fill in those scratches or repair it on your own. I don't know if you could actually repair a scratched CD or one that has visible gouges in it. If it's cracked, throw it away, right? Keep the cover, take out the artwork for posterity's sake, and frisbee it. But I do know that cleaning it with a microfiber cloth I recommend, if you could try to save it. I mean, but severely scratched, CDs are weird. You will have some that are the older, tougher compact discs that first came out in the 80s. They seem to have held up pretty well to age. And you can actually clean those, even though it's like, wow, look at all those scratches. It's a miracle, but good luck to you with that. So again, I already mentioned where to shop for CDs, and if you don't know where to go for progressive rock, I also gave you a couple ideas. Vinyl. Now, here's the thing. I've been recently listening to this, not Prog, but it's right here. It's handy. Frampton's Camel. It's a really good album, actually. Very underrated album, actually. He's an underrated songwriter, great singer, and he's a fantastic guitar player. So, anyway, so what's the deal? Why did I pick this one? So this one has, I don't know if you guys can see this. This does have visible scratches. And one of the great tricks for eBay people is they'll take a photo and put it with the album listing, and you go zoom in on the picture. Hey, that looks pretty good to me, and he said it was very good. So you gotta look even more carefully. When I got this, it did look very good shape, but there were some visible scratches here and there on the beginning of the bands, actually, in fact. And so what I did was, and here comes the recommendation part. What I did was, I'm about to say what I don't recommend first. Don't use soap and water. I don't know where people got this idea. It's a bad idea. Warm water, soap, rinse it under the faucet. No, don't do that. Also, do not take a towel or a paper towel, damp it into cool or warm or lukewarm soap and water mixture. No, because that is going to put like a filament on the vinyl when it dries. And you say, well, I dried it really well. No, that baked into there. That's stuck in there. You don't want to put soapy dishwater, soapy dish detergent into, I don't care what healthy brand it is, it's probably vegan, it's not knocking that either. There's probably lots of good things for the environment that I use too as well to do dishware. For those who don't have dishwashers, there are a lot of us still out there. I would not use that. I would also not use those, and I've seen them online available in $100, $70 to $200 and on up. These devices where you put in water, and believe it or not, isopropyl alcohol. Hello. During the heavy days of the pandemic, we've been cleaning our hands with this till we realized, oh, okay, I don't have to use cheap vodka and hand sanitizer and this. No, don't use isopropyl. This kills your vinyl. Worse than dish detergent. Some of those machines, they're battery run, and they cost a fortune. It's plastic, and I cannot figure out why. It has a little tub in there. You put in some water, and it comes with some. Usually it's 85 to 87%. This is a little higher, but I'm using this as illustration purposes. So you put that into the tub, and the battery turns the vinyl record, or you could do it by hand, and then you remove the record, place it somewhere, empty the tub of the solution, and there's a little fan in there, and you're like, come on. So I found that digs into the pockets of vinyl collectors and people who like their music. I found this. Now, this does not include any isopropyl alcohol that I could detect. It's Kaiu Vinyl Record Cleaning Set. Kaiu, and it's not cheap. It's about, I believe, $45 to $60 in that range. So it comes with the fiber brush, its own microfiber cloth. Always good to have an extra one. And this, what's really cool about this one is, so you put the record down on a good surface, and you put this over the label portion. And for heavy duty jobs, You spray this around, but not on the orange label cover. And you just wait a few moments, lightly, go in a circular motion with the microfiber cloth. For some deeper cleaning, if you actually have like a visible stain or something, lightly, do not use too much force, use the included brush. You can also use this brush when your record is on the turntable and not playing, and your arm is in the locked position, you could just use this to go around. I really like this. I don't have a gummy substance on my records, and they clean very well. I managed to save quite a lot of them. Another product, I'm not selling, guys, and I don't get a kickback, is this Record Happy, so you know it comes from China, right? Record Happy Record Velvet Brush. This is another instance where I cannot detect any isopropyl alcohol, but I'm not quite sure what the hell is in here. It's very similar to the Caillou, but I find the Caillou works very well. This will run you, Record Happy, take a picture of that. It will run you about 25, I believe. I don't know what's in it, but I believe, and I've tested it, there's no alcohol in here of this kind. What is in here, I'm not sure. If anyone does find out, then the search goes on. So what do you do about vinyl record covers? I found this gentleman about a year ago on YouTube because I was knocking myself out. If you got a good clean home or a dirty one, hey, no judges here. If you treat your vinyl record collection really well, that's a good thing. But if you're bringing something in from the outside, whether you found it on a street soup, a flea market, a record store in the used bin for $1, $3, or you bought it off of eBay and you knew it was used, there's that smell of mold and of old. So I found this guy on YouTube. I would love to share his link. I believe I saved it somewhere. I'm going to have to look for that because I'll even share it to my Facebook page, which is Louis Paul, by the way, which is who I am, if you haven't figured that out by now. So anyway, what this gentleman did, and it works, it's great. Here's what you do. You brought that into your home. This works. So, Clorox or Lysol, the wipes. All right, I've been doing this for about a year now and saved my health. And immediately gets rid of the smell of mold on these things, even with a gatefold sleeve. So this is what you do. You get your Clorox or your Lysol wipe, and really, let's be real. Don't use the cheap brand because what the hell? I know it's cheaper. If you could find it, store up on it if you really love your vinyl. Squeeze out the excess, not onto the floor, into the sink, wherever. Just don't use it. Squeeze out that excess. Then put this down on a good surface, preferably something underneath it. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 paper towels, fold them, then I can lay it down. And you just wipe this, front and back. With gatefold sleeves, you open it up. With die-cut sleeves, I would be more careful. Die-cut means there's some kind of artistic thing. Much of the older albums did that, especially in the early 70s, late 60s, where it was really cool looking, it had this 3D effect. It's a different kind. It's actually some sort of thin paper, so don't do the die-cut. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you could pop it out a little bit and clean beneath that, do the gatefold front and back, inside and out. I wouldn't recommend doing the sleeve. Now, for example, this one still smells of age and mold, but I think you're running into an issue where probably what I would do, this is a new record, so I haven't put a new inner sleeve in it, and I probably should have for this purpose, but if you do have some extra inner sleeves, and you could purchase them, plastic and archival paper now, ditch the other one, And as you can tell, this is from A&M Records, early 70s. So they're actually promoting the big artists like Rita Coolidge and Paul Williams, Humble Pie, Billy Preston. Anyway, so if you have an excess of inner sleeves, again, this just arrived. Just listened to it a few times the other day. So I haven't done that I have some extra inner sleeves. I recommend the archival paper ones. They have a nice plastic insert. Or if you just have plastic inner sleeves, that's fine. You get rid of that. But this no longer smells of mold. So, I mean, that's what I recommend. Oh, sorry. So after you cleaned it, paper towel again, just wipe it down. So, Louis, why are you telling us to use Clorox and Lysol? You know what? Not only does it remove the mold stain, if you do it right, it makes the original color of this like 1973, 74 album, older records in general, stand out. You're like, wow, this looks nice. You still see the age. See some of the wear here, from the album being stored with other records. But the great thing about this is it just brings out some vibrancy back in there. It's like, wow, nice. And I found if you get a used record and you have some pen marks, some people love them. Joe's albums, Sally's record, and you're like, shit, or a phone number on the back. Don't bother calling it; they're probably dead. But it will remove if you do it carefully. Again, with light motions. It'll remove ink stains too. So if you don't want to remove the artwork, be careful. Now, once you do that, paper towels again, I already mentioned that. Just wipe it down, dry it. I usually let mine stand for about an hour. You're good to go. Good to go. So, was that about? Oh, one other thing. Some of us who love vinyl have been purchasing vinyl from old and new, from other countries. I find this especially with the Italian recordings. You go to put it on the turntable, and it doesn't quite fit in the spindle. I'm like, what the hell? Sometimes you have to turn it to the left and turn it to the right. So, Google again. I kept querying this in different wording, and I found this device. So, it's like I guess an archaic hole puncher. This is, you can find this in hardware stores, but you never can find the right one. So I found this on Amazon of all things, and it ran about $20 more or less. It's steel. What it was used for is to put into surfaces slightly, turning it and enlarging those surfaces rather than using a drill. Because with the drill, you would go through and puncture and make much longer the hole you needed. So this is, to enlarge a surface. So I'm like, all right, let's try this. And it works. So you have the record, put this into the hole of the record. So remember, the record's tight, right? You don't want to force the record on, because after you played it, or if you want to go to the second side, or for the Italian records, Lato B, side 2, you don't want to break the record. You don't want to mess your turntable up, especially those of you who have really nice turntables, and they cost a bit. So here's what you do. You hold the album carefully, and you put this in just where it won't go anymore, and just turn it lightly to the right, to the left, to the right, just a few motions. Don't overdo it. Blow out that excess, right? Try putting it on. You'll find it goes right on. Perfect. The reason why I say don't overdo it, look at this thing. It's steel. And it has slightly serrated edges. So you don't want to ruin the record by making the hole too large. So I just told you how to do it. You can get these at Home Depot. Amazon has them. If anyone's seriously having a problem finding this, message me on Facebook, or you can make a comment here. And I'll try to look up the link where I found this. It's really great. I mentioned Italian recordings. Hey, I love Italian Prague primarily is what I have, and some Italian psychedelic music. But I found that the Italian presses, and I had a few jazz records, some Mingus. It was it German, a German, a German printing plant for their vinyl, where it was tight. So I pulled those out. I said, damn, because I had forgotten. Use this device. Voila, it's great. Great. Remember just to blow the excess out. Anyway, I hope this is, yeah, so this was the care and cleaning of your vinyl records and CDs revisited. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back soon with some reviews of some Italian and Japanese prog. And we'll try to get more on the schedule. Be safe and enjoy this week.